taking the deepest, most exhausted breath right now. Because imagine taking 10 deeply insecure people, stripping them down to neon swimwear, isolating them on a tropical island, and then forcing them to publicly reject each other to their faces within like 6 hours of meeting.
It is a highly unethical Stanford prison experiment, honestly.
Literally, you would call it psychological torture, but Peacock calls it Love Island USA Season 8. And I really thought I was ready. I did the emotional stretches. I meditated. I told myself I was a strong, independent person who wouldn't let reality television destroy my central nervous system this summer.
And yet, here we are.
Here we are, 1 hour and 45 minutes of hot people making absolutely catastrophic, life-ruining decisions in Fiji later. My blood pressure is through the roof. I am screaming at my television, and my peace is completely, utterly destroyed.
You are fully, completely, and irrevocably in the trenches right now. Like, the emotional damage is already staggering.
It is.
The psychological warfare is unprecedented for a premiere, and we are literally on day one. But honestly,
Yeah.
I kind of respect the producer's commitment to absolute chaos this season.
I am in the trenches, the mud is up to my chin, and I am loving every single toxic, unhinged second of it. Babes, welcome back. We are so glad to find you. And babes, we hope love finds you if it hasn't, and if it has babes, we hope it's amazing love.
Welcome back to the Snark side, everyone. Because to truly unpack the sheer volume of audacity we witnessed this week, we need to fortify ourselves.
We absolutely do. And to the Snark squad listening right now, babes, in honor of Love Island USA returning to completely hijack our summer, we made strawberry margaritas.
We did.
And babes, you need to know that these are absolutely elite, like molecularly perfect, life-altering.
I mean, they are aggressively, violently strong. I watched you pour the tequila, and I genuinely questioned if you were trying to, like, preserve something in a sterile jar for a science experiment.
Hey, we need the tequila for what we're about to discuss.
Fair, but we need to have a serious conversation right now. Because you insisted on blending them, and I am on the record as a strict, uncompromising, on-the-rocks purist.
Of my life, okay? Why are frozen strawberry margaritas the official drink of the summer? Because they are the liquid embodiment of romantic delusion.
Oh boy, here we go.
They are. They are sweet, they are aggressively bright pink, they lower your inhibitions, and they make you believe in magic. And frozen is the absolute only way to go because it physically numbs the pain of watching modern romance die on screen.
That is certainly a theory.
When you drink a frozen strawberry margarita, you are transported. You are no longer sitting on a hand-me-down couch in your apartment, right? You are in a beachside cabana, the ocean breeze is hitting your hair, and summer love is not just possible, it is scientifically inevitable.
See, this is exactly the fundamental difference in our psychological makeups.
Yeah.
You are entering your full romantic delusion era. You're sipping that slushy, sugary, pink concoction, truly believing that true love is waiting just around the corner or, behind a neon door in Fiji. I prefer mine on the rocks because it represents a harsher, colder reality. It hits you faster. It doesn't disguise what it is.
Yeah.
I am emotionally preparing for absolute disappointment, both in my own life and for every single person walking into that villa.
You are so cynical.
I'm realistic. A frozen drink melts and loses its structural integrity, just like these couples. The Rocks Margarita grounds me. It reminds me that we are operating in a ruthless commodity market of human connection.
Why do you have to be like this? The sun is shining, the vibes are immaculate. Why must you bring market economics into my tequila?
Because watching dating shows automatically makes cocktails taste better when you realize your own life choices, while questionable, are not currently being broadcast on Peacock for the entire world to judge.
Okay, that is actually so true.
Right. The Rocks Margarita says, yes, you might text your emotionally unavailable ex later tonight, but at least you didn't do it while wearing a neon green thong bikini on national television while Ariana Madix watches you with profound disappointment.
I feel attacked right now, but also deeply spiritually seen. And speaking of questionable life choices, we need to make a confession to the listeners, to you guys sitting at home judging us right now.
Oh, this is going to be rough.
Babes. After way too much back and forth, late-night phone calls, agonizing over our own sanity, and staring blankly at the ceiling, we have made a decision. We are getting back on the dating apps this summer.
We are. We completely folded. And honestly, pray for us.
We need a prayer circle. We need sage. We need a team of highly trained hostage negotiators, honestly, because I don't know if this is genuine, beautiful optimism or pure, unadulterated self-sabotage.
Oh, let's not sugarcoat this with the frozen margarita mindset. Re-downloading dating apps isn't optimism. It's a behavioral sink.
A behavioral sink.
It is. It is exactly like walking into a casino, knowing the slot machines are mathematically rigged to give you intermittent, low-quality validation. We quit the apps in the first place because it was a digital wasteland.
It really was.
It was an endless, soul-crushing carousel of men holding dead fish, men whose entire personality was based on being 6'2", and people who answered the prompt, "I'll fall for you if," with "you feed me tacos."
The taco prompt is my villain origin story.
It's a bleak, repetitive reality that slowly drains your will to live. Going back is the definition of self-sabotage.
But the fantasy is so intoxicating. The idea that with one swipe, just a millimeter of movement on a glass screen, you could meet your person.
You are deeply unwell.
No, listen, you know the exact meet cute I'm talking about. You match. The banter is witty and effortless. You meet at a dimly lit, slightly overpriced wine bar. You lock eyes over a charcuterie board, and suddenly you're deleting the app together in a cab on the way home. That's what we're actually looking for. I'm crawling back to be apps because I still fundamentally believe in the fantasy.
The fantasy is a rom-com. The reality is psychological survival horror. Because the truth is, the men are already acting up.
They really are.
It has barely been 72 hours since we re-downloaded these cursed applications to our phones. The sheer volume of audacity I have witnessed this week belongs in a peer-reviewed medical journal studying the collapse of societal norms.
I know. It's rough out there in the digital trenches. Babes, you guys need to hear this. Tell the Snark squad exactly what happened to you on Tuesday. Expose the madness.
I will gladly expose it.
Yeah.
Tuesday evening, I am sipping my Harsh Reality Rocks margarita. I match with a guy. His bio is devoid of words. It is just a string of emojis.
Oh, no.
The weightlifter, the airplane, the eggplant, and the mind-blown emoji, which frankly tells me nothing other than he travels and has an inflated sense of his own anatomy.
Ew. Why did you swipe right?
Because his dog was cute in the third photo.
Yeah.
So against my better judgment, I gave it a shot. His opening message to me, his very first attempt at human connection, his opening bid to share a life together was, and I quote, "Are you a toaster? Because I want to take a bath with you."
No, absolutely not.
Yes.
Okay, but hear me out. Let's analyze this. Was it a cry for help? Maybe he's got a really dark, edgy sense of humor. Maybe he's exploring nihilism and wants a partner to unpack existential dread with.
Are you hearing yourself right now?
Maybe he's just so exhausted by the mundane, "Hey, how was your weekend?" texts that he resorted to shock value just to break through the algorithm.
I am threatening to delete the apps right now while we are recording. I will take my phone, I will march outside, and I will throw it into the nearest body of water.
Okay, calm down.
You cannot try to find the good in a man who uses a toaster suicide pickup line as an icebreaker. This isn't edgy nihilism. This is a symptom of a flooded market where men resort to shock value because they lack the emotional intelligence to foster genuine connection. That is a glaring, neon flashing red flag.
Okay, fair. It's a massive red flag, I concede. But if we are talking about a lack of boundaries, I had a match who immediately overshared to a terrifying degree.
What did he say?
Literally message number 2. I said, "Cute dog, what's his name?" He bypassed the dog entirely and told me that his mother has been withholding emotional affection since 2012, and he's looking for a partner who can provide maternal warmth while also being open to light bondage.
What is wrong with people?
I don't know.
This is the exact mechanism I am talking about. The trauma dump as a false shortcut to intimacy. He's trying to bypass the actual work of getting to know you by throwing his deepest psychological wounds at you, hoping your empathy will act as a glue to bind you to him.
Wow. Okay, Dr. Freud.
And tying maternal warmth to light bondage. That requires a team of clinical psychoanalysts, not a dating app match.
It is genuinely terrifying out there. It really is. Which tells me that it's easy for us to sit here and judge the catastrophic decisions people make on reality TV, but the truth is the outside world isn't any better. So babes, we've also received so many shady, snarky, or stupid submissive from you guys this week, and honestly, relationship chaos remains undefeated.
Truly undefeated. Let's dive into the first listener confession, because this one is a masterclass in modern dating dystopia.
Read it.
It says, "Hey guys, so I am currently actively juggling 2 people. I've been seeing guy A for 3 months and guy B for 2 months. They don't know about each other. Guy is stable, boring, and pays for everything. Guy B is chaotic, broke, but the physical chemistry is insane. I am actively leading them both on because I can't decide if I want peace or passion. I even have a spreadsheet to keep their details straight. Is this terrible?
Oh my God, the spreadsheet. I have to say, I deeply respect the administrative dedication to the mess.
Of course you do.
Look, my initial reaction, I'm going to say this is snarky. She is a mastermind. She is securing the bag and the stability with Guy A, and she's getting the butterflies and the tingles with Guy B. She's playing the game. We live in a ruthless dating economy.
I'm going to push back incredibly hard here, using basic relationship psychology and human decency. This isn't just a modern dating strategy. This borders on sociopathic behavior.
Sociopathic. That's a little harsh.
Keeping an Excel spreadsheet so you don't accidentally mention Guy B's golden retriever to Guy A. That is cold, calculated, algorithmic manipulation. We are talking about the commodification of human beings.
I mean, they aren't exclusive.
But you are actively depriving two people of their agency to consent to the dynamic they are participating in. They think they are building an exclusive, authentic connection, and to you, they are just literal data points on an Excel grid to be optimized.
This is entirely shady. It's not cute. It's a massive violation of trust.
You are being so clinical and harsh. Dating is literally a numbers game right now. Until there is a ring on the finger, or at the very least a highly specific "we are exclusive" conversation, you have to protect your own interests.
By lying. What if Guy A suddenly decides he wants to move to a monastery in Tibet? What if he ghosts her tomorrow? She needs Guy B as a backup. Women have been told to settle for centuries. Let her have it all.
If you need a backup plan for a relationship, you shouldn't be in the relationship. A backup plan implies you expect the primary plan to fail, which becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You aren't investing in Guy A, you're hedging your bets. It's financial portfolio management applied to romance, and it always ends in disaster. I vote definitively shady.
Okay, fine. I hear your ethical dilemma. Let's look at confession 2. This listener writes, I have a terrible habit. Whenever a guy I actually really like texts me, I will read it on my Apple Watch so the read receipt doesn't trigger on his phone, and then I will purposefully not reply for exactly 2.5 days. I do it purely for the aesthetic of seeming busy and important. I want him to think I'm outliving this glamorous, highly sought-after life, when in reality, I am sitting on my couch, wearing a stained sweatshirt, watching TikToks, and having rolling panic attacks about whether he thinks I hate him.
This is absolutely fascinating.
I feel this in my soul. I empathize so deeply with the anxiety of replying.
Really?
Yes, you don't want to seem desperate. If you reply in 30 seconds, he thinks you are just hovering by your phone, waiting for him to validate your existence. You have to craft the illusion of scarcity. You have to be the prize. If you are always available, your value drops.
But listen to the language we are using. We are treating human connection like a commodity market again. The illusion of scarcity. Your value drops. What are we, De Beers hoarding diamonds to artificially inflate market prices?
It's just how the game is played.
It is a text message asking how your Tuesday was. By leaving someone on red for days to manufacture a fake, glamorous persona, you are starting the entire foundation of the relationship on a fundamental lie. The mechanism here is manipulation through withholding.
But it works. It makes them want you more.
Does it? Or does it just attract people who are triggered by avoidant behavior? You are playing a cruel game with someone else's anxiety to soothe your own. If he has an anxious attachment style, those 2.5 days are absolute torture for him. I vote stupid.
Stupid.
Yes, because ultimately you are stressing yourself out into rolling panic attacks, and you are probably driving away a securely attached man who just wants a normal conversation.
Okay, it is a little stupid, I will admit. Because the fatal flaw of this plan is that after 48 hours of radio silence, you have to come up with some elaborate cinematic lie to justify the delay.
Exactly.
You can't just say, hey. You have to say, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I was underground in a bunker for an immersive theater experience, and then my phone fell into a vat of artisanal cheese. Just say you were watching Netflix. We are making ourselves insane. Okay, vote stupid.
All right, confession 3. Let's see if we can find some common ground on this one. My ex broke up with me via a voice note while he was in an Uber on the way to the airport for a boys' trip to Miami. So for petty revenge, I logged into his streaming accounts, changed all the profile icons to pictures of rats, and then systematically fast-forwarded the last 5 minutes of every single show he was currently watching so it would spoil the endings and completely ruin his algorithm. Your worst.
Oh my God, I am standing up. I am giving a standing ovation in my living room.
It is quite something.
That is an absolute masterclass. That is targeted, psychological, nonviolent warfare of the highest order. Breaking up via a voice note from an Uber, he deserves nothing less. Changing the profile icons to rats is cinematic. It's poetry.
It is utterly unhinged. And it's the textbook definition of petty. You didn't just ruin his day, you corrupted his digital ecosystem. You destroyed his algorithm. That takes hours of dedication to hatred.
Have you ever done anything this petty? Honestly, let's expose ourselves.
Okay, I analyze these behaviors because I have lived them.
I knew it.
I once dated a guy who was profoundly obsessed with his perfectly curated Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
He thought he was a musical savant, like a misunderstood genius of vibes.
Oh, those guys are the worst.
The absolute worst. When he cheated on me, before I moved my boxes out of his apartment, I logged onto his laptop, went into his Master Vibes playlist that he played at every single party, and subtly sprinkled in Kids Bob covers of explicit top 40 hits every 10th song.
Stop.
No, that is diabolical. You disrupted his core identity.
I weaponized his own algorithm against him. He texted me 3 weeks later in absolute hysterics, saying he had a panic attack at a pregame because he was trying to set a moody vibe, and a chorus of literal children started screaming the lyrics to WP.
I am deceased. That is brilliant. Okay, I have one.
Let's hear it.
I once dated a guy who was incredibly meticulous about his kitchen. Everything had a place. We had a huge relationship-ending fight. We broke up. And on my way out the door for the last time, I opened his drawer and I took a single fork.
Just one.
Just one fork. I knew it would make his expensive silverware set an odd number, and I knew psychologically it would subtly haunt him every single time he unloaded the dishwasher for the rest of his life.
We're toxic. We are all deeply, fundamentally toxic.
We really are.
Which is why we are uniquely qualified to analyze this show. This listener's confession is shady, snarky, ain't stupid, and honestly, I revere it. Same. So it's clear the outside world is a mess. The apps are a mess, we are a mess. Which brings us perfectly to the absolute pinnacle of human chaos. Okay, babes, enough exposing ourselves, because we need to talk about Love Island.
It is time.
The Love Island USA Season 8 premiere. A supersized 2-hour cinematic masterpiece of human suffering, emotional whiplash, and aggressive spray tans on Peacock.
Let's methodically set the stage, the vibe, the villa, the pre-show chaos. First of all, Ariana Madix is back as the host. And I have to say, analytically speaking, I have some serious notes on the initial styling choices.
How dare you?
Oh, yeah.
Ariana is reality TV royalty. She walked through the fires of Scandival so these islanders could run.
I fully acknowledge her royalty and her resilience, but we need to talk about the semiotics of the look. She walked into that villa wearing a very intense, glittering, cut-out architectural gown. It was giving severe Bond girl villain who's about to drop Daniel Craig into a tank of laser-equipped sharks.
It was high fashion.
And the hair. It was this severe, slicked-back, unmoving helmet of power. It felt incredibly harsh for a show that is fundamentally about vulnerable 20-somethings sharing a single bathroom and catching feelings in neon swimwear. She looked like she was there to execute them, not guide them toward love.
I am going to defend the styling with everything I have. It is Season 8. The stakes are higher. The producers have evolved. She needs to establish utter dominance the absolute second she walks into that villa. She looked phenomenal, and I love that she was giving us high fashion intimidation. Says, do not cross me. Do not lie to me.
Okay, bye.
But I will reluctantly agree with you on the opening number. What in the community theater was that?
The weird, incredibly cringe, yet somehow fun Broadway-style musical opening. It was a sensory overload.
They had everyone dancing around a wooden hut in the water to a song that sounded legally distinct from, but suspiciously similar to, a Mariah Carey track. There were background dancers splashing in the shallows. It felt like a highly funded high school production of High School Musical set in Fiji. Why did we need a choreographed opening number? We just want to see them awkwardly meet and judge each other's outfits.
It was a bizarre, campy choice. But before we get into the Islanders actually walking in and making those judgments, we have to address the massive elephant in the pre-premiere casting room.
Yes, we do.
And listeners, we are putting on our completely objective, strictly impartial reporter hats right now. We are not taking sides, we are not endorsing any political views, and we are not endorsing or defending any controversial actions. We're simply giving you the factual reality TV context of what went down before the cameras even rolled, because it fundamentally altered the structure of the premiere.
Exactly. Strict neutrality is required right now. So originally, the cast lineup you saw was supposed to look a little different. An original cast member, Vasana Montgomery, was removed by the producers literally right before the premiere aired. This was due to resurfaced videos on social media containing racial slurs. The producers stepped in, made a definitive call, and pulled her from the active lineup.
Right. And because of that last-minute removal, it caused an immediate logistical ripple effect in the casting structure of the game. Gabriel Vasconcelos, who was originally meant to enter the villa as an OG, a Day One Islander standing on that stage, had his role abruptly shifted by production. They held him back to become a bombshell later in the premiere to balance the male-to-female numbers.
Right.
Furthermore, keeping our impartial reporter hats firmly superglued to our heads, Internet sleuth dug into Gabriel's background before the premiere and identified him as a Trump supporter. Again, we are stating these facts purely as the reality TV context surrounding the premiere and highlighting the messy 11th-hour reality of how the cast had to be shuffled.
Perfectly stated. We report the mess, we don't make the mess. Now let's talk about the people who actually walked into the villa on day one. Let's break down these first impressions because the psychology on display was staggering. Let's start with the women.
First up, we have Anaya. She's 23, from Georgia, and she works as a marketing director for her family's nonprofit.
Ugh.
Oh, and a crucial piece of context. Her dad is former NBA player Donald Harvey. So she is coming from a highly athletic, intensely competitive background. You can see it in her posture.
You really can.
She immediately declares she's ready to settle down, get married, and start a family. But she also isn't opposed to a short king.
I instantly love Anaya. She has the most gorgeous, radiant smile, and I love a girl who comes in saying, I want a short king. It shows she's not just checking off generic, societally programmed boxes for male attractiveness. She has specific tastes.
Wow.
But I have to say, 23 and ready to start a family? Babes, your frontal lobe literally just finished baking. The ink on your adult brain development is still wet. Go out to a club, make some mistakes. Why the rush to domesticity?
It's the competitive nature. She wants to win at life milestones. Then we meet Beatrice, or Bay.
Yeah.
25, lives in San Diego. She is an absolute powerhouse of a human. She was born with a birth defect, has one leg, and is a two-time Paralympian who won a bronze medal.
She is a certified icon. I was obsessed with her energy instantly. She was vibrant, she was commanding, and she clearly knows exactly who she is. And her bio is highly specific.
Oh, very specific.
She explicitly says she wants a tall, dark, handsome man with a mouth mullet, which I had to Google immediately. It apparently means a mustache combined with a soul patch. It is a deeply specific aesthetic choice. She also explicitly states that she hates country music, which is going to become a massive relationship-destroying plot point in about 10 minutes.
Next is Trinity, 22, from Virginia. She literally quit her job at a hardware store to come on the show.
Oh, that is absolute dedication to the reality TV arts. Burning bridges for screen time. I respect it.
She states point blank that she hates the term medium ugly. She doesn't want medium ugly. She wants an undeniably universally hot man. However, she claims she loves sex, but then later contradicts herself entirely by saying she gets a visceral ick from spit and kissing.
Make it make sense.
Let's analyze the dissonance here. You're going on Love Island. The entire foundational premise of the franchise is swapping saliva and tropical humidity with strangers. Why sign up for a kissing show if you hate spit?
I feel like Trinity is going to be incredibly entertaining precisely because of that dissonance. She seems like she might just verbally eviscerate a man if he looks at her wrong or breathes too heavily near her face. Then we have Kenzie, 24, a nurse from Georgia. She wants a literal soccer team of kids.
Oh, Kenzie.
And I'm just going to say it, and I mean this with love. I am getting massive, overwhelming Kaylor vibes from her. Remember Kaylor from a couple seasons ago? The blonde who cried every single episode until she was practically dehydrated?
The psychological resemblance is uncanny. Kenzie also has these very wide, incredibly intense eyes. They are a lot to take in when she's expressing any form of emotion. She's talking to the camera about how her Gemini moon meme, she comes out at night and gets crazy, and I'm just watching her eyes practically vibrate out of her skull.
They really were.
Her somatic expression of anxiety is off the charts. She's a walking emotional spiral, a powder keg of anxious attachment waiting to detonate.
And finally, rounding out the OG girls, Melanie, 24, Dominican, manages a bikini store in LA. She said something in her intro package that I thought was actually quite profound. She hates the phrase girl's girl. She said a real woman who loves, supports, and protects other women doesn't have to constantly broadcast that she's a girl's girl. It will just show in her actions and her loyalty.
I agree with the fundamental logic of her statement. However, usually, anyone who proactively brings up the girl's girl debate on day one of a reality show is the exact person who is going to mercilessly stab their best friend in the back during Casa Amor for a guy named Brad who wears puka shell necklaces.
Oh my God, you are so right.
It's a preemptive defense mechanism. But we will see. Let's bring in the men.
Enter Sincere, 25, a track star from Jersey. He is adorable. The smile is blinding. He seems genuinely authentic when he talks, not overly rehearsed. He proudly calls himself a chaser when it comes to women.
Then there is Bryce, 29, a model and handyman from L.A. We have to talk about the hair. It looked like he had just rolled out of bed, put on a very tight bucket hat for 3 hours, sweat in it, and then took it off right before the camera started rolling.
It was so bad.
And Kenzie immediately called him a simp, which he then had to very defensively, awkwardly navigate. Also, analytically speaking, 29 feels a little old to be in this specific mix, risking mono with 22-year-olds who just quit their hardware store jobs. The maturity gap is a chasm.
Then we get Zach, 26, content creator from the UK. He is the brother of season 7's Charlie. So we have reality TV nepotism happening in real time. His main personality trait, his core identity, is that his future girlfriend must love his cat Lola.
Next up, Sean, 29, a police officer from Pennsylvania. He immediately, without prompting, reveals that he was in a 10-year relationship, got out, went absolutely crazy on the dating apps for a few months, and accidentally had a baby who is now 2 years old.
That is an overwhelming amount of information for an intro package. That is not an icebreaker. That is a therapy intake form.
And finally, Casey, 23, nursing assistant from California, calls himself a lover boy who likes his freedom but claims he would give it all up for the right person. A classic avoidant calling card.
So the men are in, and the producers decide, instead of a normal traditional coupling where they step forward based on looks, we are going to do a completely chaotic, hilariously awkward compatibility game. The kissing doors game.
Let's explain the psychological mechanism here. The men are placed behind massive, opaque doors. Ariana asks a highly intimate question. The women stand on the other side of the door they think matches their answer. If they match, the door slides open, and they are contractually obligated to aggressively make out. It is forced vulnerability and conformity.
And the very first question was about favorite sex positions. Missionary, doggy, or cowgirl. The doors slide open, and it is just immediate, graphic, unhinged spit swapping. Sean and B matched on doggy, and Sean went all in. It was a vacuum seal. It was like he was trying to extract oxygen from her lungs.
It was alarming to witness. Then the questions pivot to expose deeper personality flaws. Are you a dog, cat, or plant person?
Okay, this was the funniest, most devastating moment of the entire episode. Casey, trying to be edgy, trying to be an intellectual contrarian, stands proudly behind the plant door. The door slides open, and there is absolutely nobody there.
Just empty space.
Just empty space. He is just standing there alone, holding a fern, looking like he desperately wants the Fijian sand to open up and swallow him whole.
This is exactly why trying to be edgy backfires psychologically in environments that reward conventional, universally understood signaling. Read the room, Casey. You are on Love Island, a show built on golden retriever energy. Everyone is picking the dog door because it signals warmth and approachability. Picking the plant door signals. You were detached and prefer things that don't talk back. It was secondhand embarrassment at its absolute finest. But the most revealing question, the one that exposed the true red flags, was, should you check your partner's phone? Always. Sometimes, never.
I have deep thoughts on this. Sincere picks always. He's the only guy who picks always, and the girls matched him. Sincere later tries to clean it up in a private chat by saying, I just mean having an open phone policy. It's about trust. I don't need your passwords, but if I ask to see it, you shouldn't hide it. And this, I kind of agree. If you have nothing to hide, an open phone policy is just transparency. It builds trust. It removes the anxiety.
I am pushing back hard here, using basic relationship psychology. Sincere is entirely conflating transparency with surveillance. What he's asking for isn't intimacy, it's enmeshment.
Enmeshment.
Yes. By demanding open, unfettered access to a phone on day one, he's attempting to bypass the actual difficult work of building trust over time and going straight to the illusion of control. If you feel the visceral need to check my phone, the trust is already fundamentally broken. You aren't checking the weather app. You are aggressively looking for evidence of a crime.
Okay, but it is invasive.
The fact that Sincere picks her always makes me think he has been deeply burned in the past and is now projecting his unresolved insecurities onto his future partner.
Wow. Okay. When you put it like that, I see the surveillance angle. It's a very fine, dangerous line between transparency and a police state. So after this saliva-filled, psychologically revealing icebreaker, we get to the actual couplings. And the red flags are immediately hoisted high into the Fijian air. Let's break down these couples.
Let's start with the standouts, the ones who might actually survive. Sincere and Melanie. They matched on the phone checking question, and they both have this very specific East Coast fast-talking vibe. Melanie immediately dubs them double trouble, which is slightly nauseating but undeniably cute.
They had undeniable, authentic physical chemistry. It wasn't forced. Later in the episode, they are lounging in the soul ties area and they are just macking. It wasn't awkward turtle kissing like some of the others. They actually looked like they wanted to consume each other. There was real somatic attunement there. I'm actively rooting for them.
Then we have Trinity and Bryce. Trinity actually picks him. She stands by his door. And Bryce, who he establishes 29, immediately makes it incredibly weird.
So weird. He starts stressing out loud on camera about the age gap. Trinity is 22, and Bryce is practically having an existential crisis, saying he feels bad about stealing her youth.
Let's analyze this mathematically and psychologically. If you are a 29-year-old man and you willingly sign a contract to go on Love Island, you know exactly the demographic of the women being cast. They're mostly going to be in their early 20s. Why go on reality PV to date 20-somethings and then actively complain to the 20-something that you feel guilty about dating a 20-something?
It makes no sense.
It's a bizarre preemptive defense mechanism. It's an attempt at seeming emotionally mature that actually just highlights how deeply insecure he is about the power dynamic.
Exactly. He wants credit for being self-aware without actually changing his behavior. And then they sit down for a chat, and Trinity politely asks what he does for a living, and he gets super defensive about doing electrical work on garbage trucks. He says it's disgusting, and he seems genuinely embarrassed by it.
It was hard to watch.
And Trinity is trying to be supportive, like, someone has to do it, you work with your hands, that's manly. But he is just vibrating with insecurity. He is rejecting himself before she can.
Now let's talk about the absolute ick factory. B and Sean.
Oh, no. It hurts to even remember this.
B stands behind Sean's door because they had that intense vacuum seal makeout session during the doggy-style question. But the vibes instantly, violently die the absolute second they sit down to talk.
It was a masterclass in how to self-sabotage a conversation and completely annihilate any physical attraction. Sean reveals to be a 25-year-old globe-trotting Paralympian who is out here living her absolute best, unencumbered, single life that he has a 2-year-old son. B immediately says in her confessional that she is not ready to be a stepmamacita.
Which is completely 100% fair.
Completely fair. That is a massive lifestyle incompatibility. She wants to go to clubs. He needs to find a babysitter.
But it gets profoundly worse.
Yeah.
He's a cop, which already introduces a specific power dynamic. And then they get onto the topic of music. B asks if he likes country music. He says, hell yeah. She says, I don't like country. Now, a normal, socially adjusted person would say, oh, cool, what do you listen to? Or, we could take turns on the O chord. What does Sean say?
He aggressively leans in and tells her, I'm going to make you love it. I'm going to send it to you until you have to like it.
I need to pause here and explain why imposing your tastes on a day one match is the ultimate dating turnoff. It is so deeply presumptuous. It's giving immediate my way or the highway energy. He isn't trying to learn about her internal world. He is trying to mold her into his ideal, preconceived notion of a woman who listens to Morgan Wallen in the passenger seat of a pickup truck.
It gave me the biggest ick.
It's an immediate, visceral ick. You do not force your hobbies on someone you met 45 minutes ago. It is a microcosm of domestic control.
It is so arrogant. And B's face, you could physically see her check out. Her soul left her body, packed its bags, and boarded a direct flight back to San Diego. She was done. Speaking of bad conversations, let's look at our default duo, Anaya and KC.
Right, because Anaya stood for sincere, but sincere chose Melanie. Casey had 0 girls stand for his plant door. The contrarian strategy failed spectacularly. So they're defaulted together by the rules of the game.
And we get what I am calling the chivalry debate. They're sitting down, getting to know each other, and Anaya says she wants a fairy tale romance. She wants Prince Charming to actively court her. And KC, this 23-year-old man who literally calls himself a lover boy, actively tells her that he refuses to do chivalrous things like putting his jacket over a puddle for her to walk on. His exact word-for-word excuse. It's not the olden days.
The puddle metaphor here is sociologically fascinating.
It's tragic. I got so incredibly emotional watching this. What is happening to romance in our culture? Why is it suddenly considered a weakness to go out of your way to show a woman she is cherished and protected? Putting a jacket over a puddle isn't about the literal water. It's deeply symbolic.
Is it, though?
Yes. It means I will purposefully inconvenience myself to ensure your comfort. It's an act of devotion. And Casey is just sitting there, arms crossed, basically saying, I'm doing the bare minimum, please accept it. It is the death of romance. I want grand gestures. I want devotion.
You are spiraling into the romantic delusion again. Let's look at this analytically. I am going to push back. Casey is just protecting his wardrobe. Jackets are expensive. We do not live in 18th century London where the streets are filled with actual ankle-deep mud and horse manure. You can just walk around the pedal.
That's not the point.
It's 2026. Casey's being highly practical. He's saying he'll open doors, he'll be respectful, but he's not going to ruin a $150 Zara bomber jacket for a girl he met 20 minutes ago. It's economic preservation, not a lack of love.
Practicality has absolutely no place in the early stages of love. If you aren't willing to ruin a Zara jacket for me, you aren't the one. But fine. Let's move to the most disastrous, psychologically painful couple of the night. Kenzie and Zach. The delusion.
Zach is the British content creator with the cat. Kenzie is the blonde nurse with the anxious attachment style and the vibrating crazy eyes. They sit down on the daybed, and Zach decides to be the most blunt, tactless human being currently residing on the island.
I couldn't believe it.
He explicitly, without any softening or grace, tells Kenzie that she is not his type. He says he doesn't date blondes, he says he likes dark features, and he tells her he will absolutely not cuddle her tonight in bed because he doesn't want to send mixed signals.
It was brutal to watch. He didn't even try to soften the blow with a compliment. He didn't say, "You're gorgeous, but we don't click." He basically said, "I'm physically repulsed by your genetic hair color. Please stay firmly on your side of the mattress." How does Kenzie respond to this glaring rejection? By accepting it gracefully, by recognizing her own worth and pulling away. No, she spirals into oblivion.
She goes straight to the girls' dressing room and starts crying.
Yeah.
She is completely willfully ignoring the glaring neon "I'm not into you" signals. This is attachment theory in action. Avoidant meets anxious. He pulls away, and her anxiety perceives that distance not as a closed door, but as a puzzle she needs to urgently solve to prove she is lovable. And this connects so deeply to our own dating app experiences, doesn't it?
It does. It hits so close to home. How many times have we matched with a guy? He gives us one-word answers, takes 3 entire business days to reply, explicitly says, "I'm not looking for anything serious right now," and we sit there with our friends at brunch, dissecting his text like, "But wait, he used an exclamation mark after cool? He must be secretly terrified of his overwhelming love for me, but scared of his feelings. He's just building a wall I need to knock down."
Exactly. We project what we desperately want to see onto a blank canvas of indifference. And Melanie, bless her heart, gives Kenzie terrible, toxic advice. She tells Kenzie to stick it out, saying, "You guys look so cute, kissing."
Melanie.
The man explicitly said he does not want her. Stop giving her false hope. You are enabling the delusion.
So we have all this incredible tension bubbling under the surface. The couples are sleeping in their beds. Zach is practically wearing a heavy winter snowsuit to avoid accidentally brushing Kenzie's leg. Sean is dreaming of forcing Morgan Wallen on people while B dreams of a swift escape route. And then morning comes, and the producers drop the hammer, the stick or twist.
This was diabolical for day one. We have never seen this level of psychological warfare this early. Ariana returns to the fire pit. She tells the islanders they have a choice. There are 2 painted dots on the ground. A green dot means you want to stay with your current couple. A red dot means you want to leave your couple, risk elimination, and explore new options.
And here is the kicker.
You have to make this choice publicly, in front of everyone, while standing right next to the person you are either choosing or rejecting.
The psychological pressure is immense. So they step up, couple by couple. Melanie and Sincere both step on green. Obviously, they are double trouble. They have the chemistry. Anaya and KC both step on green, which shocked me to my core because the puddle comment, but I guess sheer survival instinct and fear of elimination kicked in over the death of chivalry.
Bryce and Trinity both mutually step on the red dot. The 29-year-old age gap panic and the garbage truck insecurity won out. They amicably, awkwardly split. But then we get the blind sides, the actual carnage.
The drama. Sean steps on the green dot. He actually thinks things are going great with Bia. He thinks he's going to make her a country fan. He thinks they're building a foundation. And Bia looks him in the eye and steps on the red dot. She rejects him to his face on national television.
Sean looked like his dog just died. He was completely, utterly blindsided because he lacks the self-awareness to realize how poorly his controlling conversation went. Then we have Kenzie and Zach. Kenzie, living firmly in Delulu land despite crying all night, steps on the green dot. She actively wants to stay with the man who explicitly said he won't cuddle her and hates her hair color. And Zach obviously sprints to the red dot as fast as his legs can carry him.
It was so humiliating to watch. So Kenzie and Sean are publicly humiliated, standing on green while their partners stand on red. But the twist isn't over. Ariana announces that because people stepped on the red dots, the villa is now officially open for business. Enter the bombshells, Kata and Gabriel.
And here is the brutal rule the producers implement. The bombshells can only interact with and kiss the people who stepped on the red dots. If you stepped on green to be loyal, you are safe from elimination, but you are also completely off the market and cannot talk to the new, incredibly attractive people.
Gabriel, who is Brazilian and completely devastatingly gorgeous, walks up and deeply makes out with B. Good for her. And then he walks over to Trinity, the girl who earlier emphatically stated she hated spit and kissing, and she practically swallows his entire face. The sheer hypocrisy of it all.
And Kata walks up and kisses Zach and Bryce. The episode ends on this chaotic tableau, Gabriel walking away holding B in Trinity's hands, and Kata walking away holding Zach and Bryce's hands, leading them out of the villa area to an undisclosed location.
And the teaser for episode 2, we are collectively freaking out. It shows the bombshells taking them to the hideaway to drink champagne in a hot tub. It shows Sean standing alone by the fire pit, looking incredibly foolish. And it shows Kenzie having a full nuclear meltdown, sobbing hysterically and screaming, "I always pick cheaters."
Which is the most analytically unhinged thing she could possibly say.
Yeah.
He didn't cheat. He literally told you to your face in plain English that he didn't want you, and then he stepped on a bright red dot that universally translated meant, "I am leaving you." You cannot be cheated on by a man you've known for 6 hours who explicitly dumped you. Her reality distortion field is legendary.
Oh my God, the delusion is going to sustain my life force for the next 6 weeks. Okay, speaking of bad choices, bruised egos, and reality distortion, we need to hand out some day one hardware. Let's get into our segments.
Segment 1, Villa MVP. The concept here is choosing the Islander who had the strongest, most strategic, or most entertaining episode.
I am coming in incredibly hot. My nomination for Villa MVP is Beatrice. Beer recognized the ick instantly. She saw the baby daddy cop country music combo platter being served to her. She realized her peace was fundamentally compromised, and she unapologetically stepped on the red dot. She didn't fake it to stay safe and secure screen time. She chose chaos over comfort, and she got instantly rewarded with a Brazilian bombshell making out with her. That is MVP behavior. Can she keep the momentum going? I think so, because she knows her boundaries.
I see your Bia, and I raise you, Ariana Madix.
Oh, interesting.
I nominate the host. Ariana is the true MVP for instigating that brutal dot game on day one. She walked in there looking like a Bond villain and facilitated absolute, unmitigated emotional carnage with a completely straight face. However, if I have to pick an actual Islander playing the game, I'll agree with B. Her boundary setting was a masterclass. But I do worry Gabriel's going to break her heart. He seems like a seasoned player, and B might have just jumped from the frying pan of Sean's control directly into the fire of Gabriel's manipulation.
True, but at least the fire is hot. Okay, moving on. Segment 2, the Walking Red Flag Award. The concept, the Islander showing the biggest, most glaring warning signs.
You know exactly who I'm targeting? Sean.
Ah.
Sean is a walking red flag, brilliantly disguised as a nice guy. Let's review the empirical evidence. He gets out of a 10-year relationship. He goes on an immediate dating app spree to soothe his ego. He accidentally has a baby. He's a cop. And his very first instinct when a woman says she doesn't share his taste in music is to say, "I'm going to force you to like it."
It's bad.
That is a highly toxic cocktail of control, unresolved baggage, and notoriously poor decision-making. Is he misunderstood? No. He is genuinely dangerous to date because he fundamentally doesn't listen to women.
Wow, you went highly analytical and lethal on Sean. I respect it. But I am aggressively targeting Zach for this award. Zach is a walking red flag because he lacks basic foundational human empathy. I'm not saying he has to fake being in love with Kenzie, but the blunt, tactless, "I don't date blondes" speech was entirely unnecessary. It's cruel. You can say, "I'm just not feeling a romantic connection," without specifically attacking someone's unchangeable physical features. It shows a severe, alarming lack of emotional intelligence.
So we have a controlling nice guy versus an emotionally stunted frat boy. Pick your poison, Snark Squad. Moving on to segment 3, Tinder profile rewrite. We are going to completely rewrite one Islander's dating profile based strictly on their unhinged behavior in this episode. And the target is Casey.
Oh, I've been waiting for this. Casey, the man who let a single puddle destroy the concept of romance. Here is his new, brutally honest, shady dating app profile. Casey, 23. Lover boy, allegedly. Will absolutely not put my Zara jacket on a puddle for you, so watch your step. I identify strongly with household plants, which is incredibly fitting because I thrive when left completely alone with 0 women standing behind my door. looking for a Disney princess who enthusiastically accepts the absolute bare minimum chivalry, must be willing to physically carry me over the puddles so my sneakers don't get wet.
That is incredible. Identifies strongly with household plants. That is devastating. It's shady, it's loud, and it is 100% accurate based on the behavioral data we collected tonight. If I saw that on Hinge, I would swipe left so fast I would physically sprain my thumb.
Okay, final segment. Segment 4. Couple survival forecast. We are predicting the long-term futures of the current pairings based on a very small, very chaotic sample size.
Let's start with who we think will actually make it to the finale. I think we both agree on this, Melanie and Sincere. They're the only ones with actual palpable chemistry. They match energy, they have the East Coast connection, and they stepped on the green dots confidently, without hesitation.
I completely agree they are finale bound. Now, who will survive Casa Amor? We all know Casa Amor is the ultimate loyalty test where the couples are separated. But what we're looking at with this specific cast is a group of men who lack the prefrontal cortex development to survive it. Babes, my prediction, none of them.
None of them. It will be an absolute massacre.
Men are weak. Every single man in this villa will fold like a cheap aluminum lawn chair the absolute second a new bombshell looks at them and validates their ego. Sincere might stay loyal the longest, but even he will be tempted by the sheer volume of attention. The Casa Amor survival rate for this specific group of developmentally stunted men is absolute 0%.
Painfully accurate. Who will last exactly 1 week? Anaya and Casey. They only stepped on the green dot, purely out of a shared survival necessity. They both know there wasn't anyone else available to keep them in the villa. The exact second a new guy walks in who is willing to take off his jacket for a puddle and show some actual devotion, Anaya is gone. 1 week, tops.
And finally, who will crash and burn spectacularly in front of our eyes? Kenzie and Zach. They are already actively burning, and Kenzie's just sitting in the middle of the flames pretending she's at a cozy beach bonfire. Zach stepped on red, Kenzie stepped on green. She's calling him a cheater in the previews. This is going to be a multi-episode catastrophic meltdown. Zach will couple up with Kata, and Kenzie will terrorize the villa with her tears until the producers send her home.
It's going to be a masterclass in delusion and avoidant anxious triggering.
And we will be here with our margaritas for every single second of it. Thank you to the Snark squad for hanging out, drinking, and spiraling with us today. This premiere was everything we needed and more.
But before we go, we want to hear from you. Are you currently braving the absolute wasteland of the dating apps? And if so, what is your absolute biggest dating app red flag right now? Is it the dead fish? Is it the toaster pickup line? Let us know in the comments.
Also, tell us, which Islander do you trust the least after night 1? And which couple are you actually rooting for, if any? Remind your messiest bestie to listen, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss a spiral.
You keep sending in those shady, snarky, or stupid relationship confessions. We read all of them, they give us life, and they remind us we aren't alone in the chaos.
Yes. Now, before we sign off, I want to leave you with a final, highly provocative thought. Think about this. The producers introduced the stick or twist on literally day 1. They forced these fragile, insecure islanders to publicly reject their partners to their faces while standing right next to them.
It's a level of calculated cruelty and forced humiliation we haven't seen this early in the game's history.
Exactly. If this is the psychological warfare of just the premiere, what does this say about the mental endurance required for modern reality TV? Are dating shows moving away from the wholesome premise of finding love entirely and fully pivoting into the genre of psychological survival horror? Are we just watching a very glamorous, highly produced Stanford prison experiment with spray tans and gamifying emotional trauma for our own entertainment? Mull that over while you finish your margaritas.
It's a dark thought, but a necessary one to examine why we love this so much.
Stay messy, stay flirty, and we will see you on the Snark side.